We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1 billion, 300 million, trillion market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about some very important things. There is a shakeout going on in the market, and it is basically creating fear in people, and this is intentional. There is a point where I would say that the market could bounce. We're going to look at that. Where maybe this whole sell-off, especially in the altcoins, has an end. So we are going to look a little bit at some small hints that this could be happening. And we are going to look at some other interesting metrics in the crypto market. This one is going to be a little bit of a faster stream because I have to go somewhere. And then I have to talk about Ecomi as well, see if there's any hopes for Ecomi at the horizon. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be interesting. So good morning to all of you, especially to the rare Hodler army. Thank you for that, Green Lantern. And Trucking Hank is here. Good morning. Felipe is also here. Good morning, Felipe. Now we have to quickly launch a tweet also, going live for Crypto Morning Coffee right now. Let's call some more people in here now. Okay, there we go. And Bodo is here. Coffee ready, shopping for some good OMI news soon. Hoping. I somehow I read shopping. Maybe that's the altcoin environment, because the altcoin environment looks like we should be maybe going on a shopping spree. Patrick Bultman also here, another rare hodler in the house. So maybe today we start this off with, first of all, smash the like button right now for the stream if you haven't yet. I know that rare hodlers do that automatically, but there are some other people maybe here that need this reminder, and subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Take a big sip of coffee. Hot coffee. That's great. And thank you to all my rare hodlers here for always supporting this channel. And with that, let's jump right into the market. Today, we are able to actually, if I put this here, we can all see everything. The market in the last 24 hours actually mixed, some small bounce going on. And if we are going to pull in the 7 and the 30 day in here, maybe we get no data at all. That's not good. Okay, there we go. So we can see that the altcoins have been bleeding heavily. So if we are looking at Bitcoin here, we see that Bitcoin is over the last 30 days only down 2.37%. So no biggie, as some people would say, right? Ethereum even is up 13% over the last 30 days. So we kind of see that in the top, there is not much, like people there are not so fearful. But then you look at Solana and you're like, okay, you're down 20%. And then you look at other altcoins and you see stuff like Avalanche down 25%. Then you see near 37%. I mean, there are a couple like Uniswap and so on that are positive, but then you have another one like Fetch AI, 43%. So here are really some coins that went down, like HBAR and Immutable X, 30%. And if you are in these coins like Fetch AI and like maybe Filecoin and Optimism and across the board, you're down like 25 to 30%, whereas Bitcoin has barely moved. Okay, so there is clearly something going on that is weird, and I think it has to do with this. So this is the Fear and Greed Index, and it shows us how the sentiment is based on several measures, and we can also see how it was in the past days. So we had a constant, since the Bitcoin ETFs, a constant fear and greed index in the greed zone of over 70, sometimes 80, even into the 90s. And that means that everyone was absolutely convinced that the crypto market is just going up and up and so on, right? So now we're down 10 points to 64 and we see already a slight bounce. In my opinion, this market can only move forward and print the next leg up once we got rid of the greed feeling. And that's what people feel, because people have been buying closer to the bottom, have been buying the dip, and have been feeling really, really good about their altcoin portfolio. And many people's portfolio is only consisting of altcoins. But now, I think some people start feeling that it's maybe not so good. And you see it also in the chats and everywhere that some prices might be going lower. So this brings me to Bitcoin. What can we see from Bitcoin? I think that the first indicator that this move might be over, first of all, we are sitting still at this basically we are still flipping this overhead resistance into a support. But besides that, if we are putting in the bull market, you can do that on your own also, the bull market support band, then we can clearly see that for the first time in a long time, besides this wick, we are touching the bull market support band. And usually in bull markets, the bull market support band is only touched and then not broken. We had a slight fake out here, so this can happen. But overall, we see that here, for example, we wicked down to it, here we wicked down to it, and here we touched it again. So there could be a bounce coming here on the weekly, right? So this is on the weekly. This bull market support band does not mean that we cannot crash below it. It's just an indicator that we could stay above it. We should stay above it, in fact. But if you look, for example, here also, in the past run, once you have a black swan, you can crash below it quite significantly. So here you have a crash below it, and here, when we were still more or less in this expansion phase and did not enter the parabolic move yet, we also crashed below it. So in this pre-crisis environment, we crashed below the bull market support band. But then, when we started this mega move, basically here, after recovering, we were only above it, and the next time we crossed it, basically the bear market started, because I would really discard the slight new top here. And then, yeah, so we have a similar situation here after so we had this bank, I think it was somewhere here, where we had some kind of a small financial meltdown, where we were going under it. But since then, we have been staying above it. So the chances that we stay above the bull market support band is actually, they are quite high. So this dip could be over. Now, what to do with this? I would say if there is spare money. And if this money can be allocated to crypto without risk for your way of living, then these prices, these downwards prices on altcoins, they actually are present, because now you can buy a dip. I mean, before, I remember the talk before when the fear and greed index was 95, everyone said, oh, if it dips, I'll buy more. Now it dipped in the altcoins, especially 30%, and you don't see, oh, I'm buying heavily, right? So just a reminder to the times that when this just bounces back, it's like, oh, it was not enough time, I wanted to buy more. Yeah, well, I think the time is now, actually, not on all coins. I mean, Pepe, meme coins, it's not the time maybe, but there are some coins that will do extremely well in the next parabolic move, and it might be possible to accumulate them now at a very good price. So, talking about, actually we leave this here so we can see. Talking about price correlation with what? Yeah, actually with the outflows of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. This is the total of the ETFs and the inflows and the outflows. And what is interesting though is we move down with the outflows, but we barely move when we have the big inflows. I mean, here we have a large sequence of big inflows, but we barely moved during all that influx period. And then, on the outflows though, we have a big crash. So once the outflows started, we moved down, but here we have big inflows and we barely moved. So there seems to be a shift going on. We discussed it late in the last Crypto Morning Coffee stream, that the miners are selling as well, and we don't see the miners on these charts. So I think that when the ETFs have outflows, it's just fuel on the fire. But when the ETFs have inflows, there are still others selling into those ETFs, and sometimes they even probably buy OTC or whales buy OTC, and we just don't see it. So there was a transaction yesterday of a whale or of an institution that bought $840 million worth of Bitcoin, and the price just didn't move. So that can happen. We saw that before. And here also we see the net inflow correlation. So you see here the 19 days, consecutive days of inflows, but the price doesn't move, right? So in that, I think this will lead to a delayed supply shock. I think it takes time, right? So here once again, this is some stuff that is being put out. So you see, for example, Bitcoin lost the 50-day moving average, and then some people are commenting, oh boy, where to now, 12K? We need a move lower and whatnot. So we had that cross also here, right, at somewhere in January, before we had the Bitcoin ETFs, or I think when we had them, I think this was the ETF wick. So just one indicator doesn't tell us where we are in the cycle. I'm not worried about the bull cycle at all, and I think these are good opportunities to get more if you have more funds. Here also maybe another one that implies the same as the bull market support band, which is a short-term holder cost basis. So here below we see it as an indicator, and basically that says the lowest point that Bitcoin should hit, because the short-term holder cost base basically acts as a support band, should be 63K. So here we see that would be right here, just a minor, maybe we can zoom in, just a minor bit below where this shows, right? So yeah, actually no, it shows exactly that value. 63K is exactly 63,800 is exactly, almost exactly, here it is, where this bull market support band also comes in. So that would be some confluence here with a short-term holder cost basis. So that would imply that we should bounce there and thereabout at 63,800. There are some voices that are calling for 48,000. Let's also look at that scenario. 48,000 would be the top of this wick or something like that. I think there are some supports below that. Even if we would crash, I think we would have, first of all, this as a support, 60,000. Big support, we see it here. If we lose that, we would have this as a support, 51, 52,000. And I think then we would really get into the fear territory, because once that happens, altcoins get absolutely massacred. So and even then, even if that happens, if we always have to zoom out, because we have to see one thing there. This was just such a massive pump during all that time. It needs a corrective move at some point, and the question is how this was almost this was a 3x from here, not even from the bottom. And it just, even, let's just imagine, this whole price chart. You have impulse, correction, how could, even if it looks like this, goes to 50 something thousand, and then the next impulse, does that look like a bearish chart to you? It doesn't. So if we have a corrective wave here that takes more than a month and goes down to 53,000, you will see this fear and greed index going into the red. You will see people crying about their portfolios. You will see people fudding that Bitcoin is going to back to bear market. That you will have people calling a triple top here, which is, in my opinion, just ridiculous. Because look at that. This is not even the same. Like, you have this and then this and then this. These are higher highs basically. So people are calling for a triple top here also. So you will have that FUD intensifying, and then you will have people trading out of altcoins and so on. So even if this happens, this would still be impulse, correct, impulse, correct, impulse, right? And then to the moon. So in my opinion, this is the time where we need to be strong in our minds, and just have that. Actually, we can hope that this happens, because if the next impulse wave is heavy, then, and we have another chance to buy, that could be glorious for us. Okay, so nothing to worry about there, in my opinion. What is interesting though is, and this happens sometimes, is that Bitcoin is now, after a very strong correlation with the S&P, has kind of decoupled. So this move lower is unusual, I would say, for 2024, to say the least. I mean, we had this before here, somewhere here. And this could also mean, if S&P 500 continues to go up, that Bitcoin will turn around and follow it, like it did here, like it did in January. And then we got the ETFs, and it outperformed S&P, right? And then it found its way back. So it really kind of fluctuates, magnetizes around this price. So I would say, if we zoom out, the correlation is still there. But it's interesting to see that during the last week, it does the opposite of the stock market. And we could find another argument why this is happening. Because who do we have within the ETFs now? We have stock traders right now. We have stock traders right now from Wall Street in the whole ecosystem. So what might they be doing? They might sell Bitcoin ETFs to jump as traders, to jump on something else, to jump on the S&P, or to do something else once they saw this cross or whatever, right? So we could imagine that there are some shenanigans going on that makes just stock traders sell off Bitcoin ETFs and then load on them again. So why should we expect that people that buy spot Bitcoin ETFs that they are long-term holders? Not necessarily institutions, maybe, but larger whales that use this just on a stock basis. It could be happening. So another one is this Bitcoin dominance. Now it's still, even though with all this correction, sitting at almost all-time highs, neglectable. I think even in the monthly we see it better. It's just such a big uptrend here for the for Bitcoin, right? For the Bitcoin dominance. We have been hitting before 57,000, but overall the monthly closes, they are higher. This likely continues, and when altcoins bleed harder, Bitcoin dominance goes up. And if Bitcoin starts pumping right now and the altcoins don't follow as much, Bitcoin dominance will go even higher. So I think we will see Bitcoin dominance at least until the end of the year going upwards. But as I said before in the stream, we are losing steam here on this. We're losing a little bit steam and momentum. Maybe if we go into a parabolic move, we can continue a parabolic rise. I would say let's cheer this on. And while this is flying, we buy the altcoins, because once this is happening, we'll have such a massive altcoin season, and this is just magnificent, right? Such a big altcoin season. So what we want, and we have a clear breakout here out of this, what we want is this to go high, to fly really high, and then get smashed down, and then lose this. Ideally, we lose this support and dominance so that we can go on a dominance price discovery. Sorry, you didn't see that last part here so that you can go on a Bitcoin dominance price discovery. That would be great. Fred Zhu Guo Qian. Yo, bro, long time no see live. Hey, long time no see in the chat. Actually, yes, I wasn't live because I was traveling. So I think the biggest mistake that people are making is that they never use the long-term zoomed out time frames. It's like looking at the 5 minute of Bitcoin, right? But when you really zoom out and you go into a monthly and you look at this, right, zoomed out, how can you say this is bearish even on a yearly basis, right? Even if you're in the bear market, how can you say that such a thing is bearish, right? Crazy Dan 420. I saw that there's a good chances the eligible will get drafted for the armed forces in Germany in the next 3 months, as NATO refuses peace. Good luck, PH. Hey, I have served in the army already. So when the funny thing is this: when I came out of school, there was still an obligation. So it's not too long ago that you were drafted in Germany. So what was the scheme? You were drafted for 9 months, and then in the very end phase for 6 months basic military training. And there are so many ways around it, right? So many people, they go to a doctor and they're like, oh, my back is completely fucked. I cannot carry a rucksack, as we say, right? A backpack. So out of 100 male in my school, there were only 6 going to that draft. The rest was drafted, but they all had some kind of medical problem, so they couldn't go. So I was one of 6, and I did the time there. I did the time, sounds like prison, right? But I actually liked it, so it was good for me at the time. So I was in the army. In the army, I never deployed to any war zone or something like that. We just did the training, and then I served a little bit more on the on a more bureaucratic side of the army, and then I went into the reserve, and I did some reserve trainings, and then when I did all the years abroad and something, this just fizzled out and did not happen anymore. So there is actually only, so the drafting in Germany ended in 2011, with the first quarter of 2011 was the last turn that got drafted. And then they got rid of it. And then they made it voluntarily, and I think the army had a pretty hard time to find new guys. And now, with the current situation and the fact that they are going to put a division into, not a division, a battalion, I think. They are going to put a battalion into the Baltic states, into Lithuania, if I'm correctly informed, something like that. Probably they need more people now, because it was always a thing that German army was barely able to service Afghanistan and some other smaller missions like Kosovo and Mali and I think Yemen and stuff like that. But Afghanistan was like 5,500, and because you need more than that because of a rotative contingent, they were basically at the limit. Yeah, I think Germany has the whole army comprises of 3 divisions, of which the 1st and 10th armored division. That's it. So there's nothing between 1 and 10. And then there is a quick reaction division where the special forces are in and whatnot. And that's it. That's basically it, right? But enough with the army stuff. Unless you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I mean, what are we here for? For looking at charts all day and talking whatever. We're talking about everything. Fred says, I am from Singapore. It is compulsory to serve for 2 years. What a waste of time. I think it depends, right? I mean, I cannot judge for Singapore. I have no idea how it is there. But it's always a point of perspective. So for me, serving these months, or I mean, together with the reserve stuff, like a year or so, was really good for my development, I would say. For my personal development, in terms of knowing my limits, in terms of like physical exercise, knowing my limits and then getting pushed over them, across them. That was one point. To be a little bit more self-confident and firm, I think that was good for me. To have more, I would say more these, I mean, you're like with 50 men in, there's nothing else, right? So this head to head, and how can I describe this? Like there was more challenges in this, like interpersonal challenges, I would call it, than you can ever reach in school, right? And at the same time, like forming some bonds of brotherhood in difficult situation. Not talking about any war experience, but only that, like, you're suffering extreme physical stress in these trainings was pretty good for me, I would say. And that together, like helping each other, this comradeship and whatnot, that was really good for me personally. I mean, there might be people where it's absolutely garbage, right? But if you look back, Crazy Dan, on the 2 years, if you look back, Fred, on the 2 years in Singapore, maybe you can find the one or the other thing that you took away that was not a waste of time. Maybe you found a good friend that you have until now and that actually helped you. I don't know, maybe that is something. Maybe you learned an important lesson for your life that you're now applying and that makes you more successful right now. Maybe you learned skills there. Maybe you made a driver's license for large vehicles that helps you today. So maybe you can find something that makes you look at these 2 years and where you would say, wait a second, I always say it's a waste of time, but maybe 80% was a waste of time and 20% helps me until today. Maybe that is a perspective. Crazy Dan says, I suggest finding a good back doctor if all hell breaks loose. Well, I mean, are we really there at this point just because militaries are starting to draft again? I don't know. But I think every year that you guys get older without us being in a world war is a good step in the direction of you not having to go. that is, and I mean, quite frankly, we have to see it this way. If you get drafted in Germany, usually you're not getting deployed. That's just, you get drafted, you serve your time, and they want to just show more people basically how it is to find more volunteers for the army, right? So that is one side. I know that if all hell breaks loose, as you say, if we're getting dragged in a world war, or if the world war starts, or whatever happens, right? I think it doesn't matter if you served or not. Then they will just call all men, right? And maybe even all women. Who knows? I mean, in these times. So I think then it doesn't matter anymore if you've served or not and whatnot. So you'll just get a quick training on a rifle, and then it's going on, right? It's going at it. I mean, look at whatever country during the Second World War. It was just impossible to escape this situation. But that is a very black painted picture. Maybe we also go into another peaceful area or another peaceful decade before the meltdown happens. Because quite frankly, the countries, if they curb inflation, they can lower interest rates, and they can just go at it one more time before it's spiraling completely out of control. Fred says, do you think gaming crypto is due for a run? Seems like the hype is all about meme for now. This is an interesting fact. Actually, I was thinking about this, and I want to discuss this also. What's interesting is that I don't know if you were here in the last bull run, or if you came in late, or maybe you were here longer than me, so for many bull runs, right? But in the last bull run, there was also a phase where Doge and SHIB and some others were moving, and then crypto, and only then other altcoins were moving. So we're kind of seeing a little bit earlier than the times before. We see this move into meme coins, and actually, if you're looking up the Twitter also in 2020, maybe I can make a video about this or so if I find some evidence there again. But I remember, so if you look up Twitter in 2020, people were talking the same thing about the altcoin run, that this time the altcoins, that there will not be an altcoin season. What if there is not an altcoin season? So the same talk right now is just justified differently, but people are justifying now in this run, oh, what if there is no altcoin season because of the institutions? And in the last time it was also, oh yeah, meme coin here, this and that. So the meme coin run was basically born in the last bull run, so it's not exactly comparable. There was only Doge when Doge exploded, and Elon pumped Doge, and then there was SHIB, and then the SHIB is the better Doge and whatnot. So was there some, yeah, and then in the way late stages of the last bull run, when the bear market basically was already starting, there were some other coins that were doing well, like Floki was already there. I think there was something like Baby Doge, stuff like that. So back to the question, do you think gaming crypto is due for a run? I think all crypto is due for a run, but I think we need to have the big boy leading the wave first, and that is Bitcoin. And then also Ethereum with the Ethereum ETFs, right? They need to lead the way, and then we need profits of that start rolling into altcoins. And there's two factors that make altcoins pump in the end, and I think it has nothing to do with whether Bitcoin is bought by institutions or not, because the argument for this run is not happening because Bitcoin is bought by institutions and Ethereum will be bought by institutions, but institutions are not going to buy altcoins. It doesn't matter, because institutions are buying Bitcoin and Ethereum now, but there are other people that are in Bitcoin and Ethereum and have large amounts. They will be in profit, they will take profit and roll that into altcoins. That is one factor. The second factor is that the degenerate retail guy that will come in when Bitcoin hits 85,000 and then 100,000, this person will look at this table and say, oh, but Bitcoin has already pumped so much. And oh, Ethereum is already so big and has pumped so much. What else is there? And then the retail money will just go directly into these coins, because no one can tell me that a retail user is just coming in, takes a trade on Bitcoin and rolls it into altcoins. No, they will go directly into altcoins, because there's, oh, what hasn't pumped yet? Oh, okay, so this is down. Okay, let me buy this. Let me buy this coin with a beautiful logo. So I think this is what's going to happen. And then yes, gaming will be one of them, because we have already seen strength out of gaming, and AI will be another one, because it's just like everyone of these retail guys will feel like a genius. It's like, oh, I bet no one has thought about this, but AI is pretty big talk right now, so let me buy some AI crypto. Okay, so I think this is going to happen. Crazy dances, I saw there's a good chance. Okay, that was before. Dirk Lade says, do you see BRC and ETH, I think you mean BTC and ETH, right? ETF gonna have a more crazy effect than gold ETF back in the day? Yeah, I think so, because I think the ETF will be crazier, because when the gold ETF came out, it was, remember, the time when the gold ETF came out, you literally had to have contact to a broker, personal contact, or you had to call them by phone to tell them to buy an ETF. So I think the retail power is way stronger since the inception of the internet. And since crypto is glorious internet money, it's just way easier for people to move into crypto. So I think the ETFs, like, since online brokers exist, basically all stock market is more accessible for everyone, and therefore also the ETF more accessible than the gold one. Troy Paris says, thanks for the updates. It has always helped. Keep it up. I hate the dips, because I always think I could have bought double if I had just sold everything just before the dip. Listen, just don't see it that way. See it as a new opportunity, because you also don't feel like that when you're in a supermarket and you buy butter every day, right? And it's like $3 a piece of butter. And you're like, okay, I buy this butter because, yeah, I buy 2 pieces now that it's a little bit cheaper, right? But and then there's an offering for $1.50, and you just buy 10 pieces and put it in the fridge. But you don't really think back and say, oh my God, had I just not eaten butter and just not bought butter the last weeks, right? It's like more, oh, there's an opportunity to save. Now it's on discount. Let's go in and buy. And by the way, the crypto market, the stock market, the financial markets are the only markets where people are not happy when things go on discount. Maybe that's also because it's not a consumer good. I give you that. But I think it's like that. You buy, you are in it, you feel fine. It goes up, you feel better. It goes down, you should be feeling good, because you get just another chance to get a little bit more of it. And I mean, there's no guarantees. There could be something really bad happening tomorrow, and the whole thing goes like C19 dip, right? But then again, it's just inevitable in my opinion, right? So this dip was 60%. Imagine Bitcoin goes on a 60% down because of a black swan or so from here. Imagine Bitcoin crashes 60%, stays there for 2 weeks, and then gets a V-shaped recovery because people are like, oh, it's not that bad as we thought it was. Or it doesn't matter, money printer goes up. Because quite frankly, this could happen. Because look at the Fed, look at the other central banks. They will wait. They will wait until something breaks, seriously breaks in the economy, and then things will go sideways. So it could happen that we see some really nasty drawdown, and that's where just hold on to portfolio for dear life and increase it at like the more you see people fear mongering and crying and fudding and I'm not talking about a specific coin. I'm talking about the entire market here, right? That's the moment that you want to go in. But when all this degeneracy happened with the ETFs, I mean, that was not the best time to buy, right? Now is a good time to buy, maybe. Okay. Dirk Late says only cure is having an income to buy the dips up. Absolutely. You need to have, and also buying the dips is with spare money, with house money, with money. And with house money, I don't mean selling your house to have money, right? I mean money that if you lose it, it doesn't hurt that much. You don't really need it, right? You shouldn't even be canceling a vacation if it goes sideways, right? Stuff like that. It should be, all needs to be allocated for your life, depending on your life situation, right? If you have kids, it's more rigorous than if you are 20 years old, student, and you're just making some side hustle and you're aping that into crypto. But if you have obligations, you shouldn't be in a position where you have to then sell crypto at a loss to cover your expenses. That's really, really bad. So then you just don't buy the dip. If you don't have money, and this is where some people really seem to have difficulties and struggle. People are like, oh, this dip, if I don't buy this dip, this chance is over. So let me take a loan and buy this dip. No. Then you just don't buy this dip. There will be another dip and maybe a dip within the dip. And maybe this dip takes 4 months. So you still have, maybe this dip will carry on for 2-3 months into September. Then you still have time to accumulate some money to buy this dip. Or maybe this dip's even more and you just don't. So there's no rush. And that's what I'm saying. And sometimes we don't buy the dip and then it's over. And that's fine. We already have a bag. It's fine. Yeah. Good day, mate. Andy, what's going on? Good day to you. Mark D says, like 1 in 10,000 can time the dips. Can't hold yourself to that standard. Real free from that insane thinking. Virtually no one sells the top and buys the bottom. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. So, yeah, and this is like, for example, with the Ecomi token, right? So it's like everyone who bought the dip is in the red. Everyone that bought the dip, except this dip right now, is in the red. So you cannot always say, oh, you can temporarily be happy with a dip, right? And here's really, and you also have to seriously consider, what are you buying the dip off, right? Are you buying the dip for Bitcoin? Yeah, usually after at least 4 years, everyone is in the green until now, right? But if you do it on Ecomi, everyone is in the red. It doesn't matter where they bought the dip. Not even scared about it, more happy about it actually. Dirk Late is buying Ecomi, I guess. So yeah, I think that is just. But for Bitcoin, I mean, just take models like this, and then you're like, oh, so these bands, they just move up, right? So where would that be at the next halving? So the next halving, even if we were dropping to the lowest band, the blue band is at 74 to 96,000. So if all that past performance holds true and this logarithmic expansion holds true, then even if you buy now, you'd be in the plus if it crashes hard to the next halving, right? So it doesn't really matter if you buy at 62 or 61,000. Maybe there will be another one after that. Yeah. Patrick Bultman says, I have to watch out that I'm not falling in a dip. Okay. Yeah, so nailing, as Mark D says, I 100% agree with you. Nailing the tops and bottoms, just forget it. Just accept that this will never happen. You will never be the guy that sells this top, and you never will be that one guy that accidentally buys that bottom. These are usually computers, these are usually buy orders, and so on that are buying the stuff. So overall, I think we should just aim to take the maximum advantage between here and whatever the top is, right? To get as close to a top and buy as close to the bottom. And for that, we have indicators, right? So we can pull up the TSI, for example, True Strength Index. Okay, now what did I do? What did I do to... I don't have the bull market support band is still on, so I have to get rid of that. Where is it? Here. Put that in the trash and then take the TSI. So the True Strength Index, right? For example, we have looked at that together with the RSI, and we're just waiting for the TSI to hit this trend line, and then we'll see, right? This could be a very good indicator that we're close to the top, because the last time we hit this trend line and we came down again, that was the top. This top, not this top, this top. And then afterwards you feel very good about yourself, and then the rally continues and you will be, damn, I sold there, and then it drops into a bear market, right? And then here also, TSI peak, this top. So TSI for me is one to watch out. Once the blue line on the TSI hits this yellow line somewhere there and thereabout, and this is a monthly, so where exactly on this monthly will I sell, right? I will sell a bigger part, right? Just to take advantage of this. But where? So I will not nail the top, but I will try to get as close as to it. Now, Ecomi. Is this the end? We cannot say for sure, because basically Ecomi, since it fell off of this out of this range, it is in price discovery. So we don't know if this is just a temporary, but what we see is some longer wicks here on the bottom. Let me refresh. Some longer wicks on the bottom that could imply that at least we will hold on these levels. We have a green week. But this is price discovery. So, yeah, that is not good. Not good at all, because it doesn't show strength in this market. But on the other side, there's still time for it to form something more bullish. We will see. Energy says, packed, no, only 44 million. Doubled mine to 22 million. Oh, you guys have so much OMI. So this is another thing. Like I have my 4.2 million OMI still, and I didn't buy any more throughout all this time. Now technically I could buy more, even lower than I would have all that time before. So you can't know. You cannot know. And maybe it pumps back and I will just miss this time. But right now I don't have the funds to accumulate OMI. And maybe I have next month, if it's still there, or maybe it's even lower. So I will just chill, and if I miss it, I missed it. So I will not stress myself, and I will not put myself into a financial risk situation. I will take care that I always have enough funds to carry on with my life, even if my whole crypto portfolio goes to zero. That should be the number one directive here. So in general, to sum this all up, and I know today we didn't talk so much about Ecomi and Veve, but to sum this all up, I think there is a massive shakeout going on, and maybe it continues. But this is just where we have to be patient, yeah. Where we really want to, we're hodlers and we're patient hodlers, right? So and we need to be patient. We need to be patient with when we want to buy the dip. We need to be patient when we're going to a valley of tears. We need to be patient with our investments when we are believing in the fundamentals. We need to be patient when we're looking at certain prices that we want to have and want to get in, or where we want to get with taking profits. It just takes time. These cycles are 4 years long. Nothing will change about this. So, overall, quick look at Ecomi. So here's a thing. So this HTX vote is going on, but the problem is that Ecomi is losing at the moment to Taboo, and not by a long shot. So they used probably bots, and I don't know what they used, but they're like leading 10x with the votes, which does not reflect at all in their following. So they have only 30k followers, but they're about to be listed on HTX instead, right, of Ecomi. So at the moment, doesn't look that good. Scotty says, why would you buy more OMI? So many other better opportunities out there. It depends on the, like, you cannot say that generally. It depends on the, are there better opportunities out there from this point in time? Probably yes, obviously yes. But if you are very familiar with OMI and not familiar with the other stuff, then people are buying more of OMI because they want to be in this project and they want to do something with Ecomi. So that's fine. Like, this is personal preference. And return-wise, it would have been the best to buy stuff like Bonk and meme coins, right? So are there better opportunities out there? Yeah, but they're doing terrible at the moment against the rest of the, like the meme coins, for example. That doesn't mean that you should be in meme coins just because some people are doing well with them. You need to be familiar with what, like, for example, you can also say, oh, the S&P is outperforming Bitcoin. Why didn't you sell all your Bitcoin and went into the S&P? Well, some people are not familiar with the S&P. I am the same, waiting until a month or two before can buy more OMI at this point. Just bought another 5 million last week, 55 million LFG, running low on fiat now. Well, and here you see it. Like, there's many people in my chat that continue to buy Ecomi, even though I don't buy Ecomi, right? So you see this personal preference. I'm not buying Ecomi at the moment. I'm holding my Ecomi. And now maybe I will go to 5 million. Maybe I will stock up or go to hit the 5 million. And then from there I will see, right? Put up those patient hodler hands. Absolutely. Listen, guys, there's paper hands, there's diamond hands, and there's patient hodler hands. Still buying OMI when there is max fear. They really need to have better dev team, 100%. So this is like the small degree between, oh, the prices is going lower and what's happening, and you really see some like lack of development, right? And I think we've discussed it on the other stream. So if you've missed it, watch the other 2 streams of this week. We really discussed a long time about what needs to happen for Ecomi to do well. Trucking Gang says, I love Ecomi. I'm also in other projects. Yeah, I think so. For me, Ecomi is less than 10% now of the allocation, so I would be comfortable to buy a little bit more, but I don't want to have it exceed 10% unless it pumps massively to exceed these 10%. Scotty says, the problem is I am all too familiar with Ecomi. That is even more of a red flag. What is more of a red flag? At 28 million, it's like top 500 for Omi holders or even higher, since Whale's got multiple wallets. Yeah, I think that's the red flag. Omi was at 7k per million, was a dream to get a single million. Yeah, I remember that when people were making like t-shirts claiming, oh, I am an O-millionaire and whatnot. So there's nothing too much going on other than Veve announced that they are dropping a Rambo poster. Oh, and also this warning, guys. So this is important. Listen up, guys. Warning to Veve official users: after selling my miles, I got a scam email that says it's from Veve, but if you open and look at the sender, it's not. Also, then it takes you to app-veve.me with a dash, and it asks you to connect wallet. No doubt a drain. Be careful. So guys, be careful about scam emails that are coming. Never mind. It's way more. Okay. So it's like 2,000, and then they do the chase now. There is an ultra rare that only has 88 editions. So this is good because people want to gamble on this stuff, right? And then what's this? So the ultra rare. Wait a second. Which one is the? So this is the rare, and then there is this. Oh, there is only this rare, and then the ultra rare. Okay, got it. And then you can. Is this craft? Yeah, craft. So you can. Okay, interesting. So what they do is they let you chase this, and if you get it, you can craft the other one, and then you can sell this, and then someone else can buy it to craft the other one. So therefore, they incentivize secondary market, and they give people something to chase. Interesting. So this is what's happening at the moment. So they are playing around with this, and actually you remember that on this channel we suggested exactly this type of drop. Only that it could be more scarce on this variant even. But the chase factor is like, okay, this is so low. Now this should be something more appealing maybe, but on the other hand, Stallone Rambo posters maybe something iconic, right? Roadmap changed for good reason, you'll see. If they didn't change the roadmap, will only be available to this day. I think the SEC wouldn't have gone after Ecomi just yet. If they didn't change the roadmap and they would have executed, Ecomi would have burned today. That is for sure. The question is, would it be possible even for some exchanges to list it? Probably. What Veve is aiming for is that they can get this Coinbase listing. Let's see if they can. If they do, it probably pumps and goes into bullish mode. If I was the team, I would wait until Bitcoin is more toppy and looks more like that altcoins are having their run, and then I would pay Coinbase no matter the cost to list it, and then Ecomi would go absolutely ballistic. Dirklate says, the team is doing their best to help steer the ship not crash into an iceberg, just a safe and guaranteed route of survival. Yeah, that could be happening. Scotty says, I'm not a fudder, I love Veve, I'm just extremely disappointed with the project right now. I can get behind that. So I also went through this phase, and actually I still am, but if they bring Omi to NFT, we get some cool exchange listings, Omi available in the US and burns. This is what we really need. We need deflationary exchanges, Omi to NFT. Done deal. If it doesn't pump, then I don't know what would pump it. but I think that would do the trick. I think that would make Omi to come back. Anyways, guys, we're already an hour underway, so I think we call it here. I am very excited to be back here on the daily Crypto Morning Coffee live streams. This was good discussion. Thank you to all of you, Trucking Hank, Dirk Lade, Scotty, Fred, who else was there? Let's see, Energy, Mark D, Patrick, Crazy Dan, Felipe, everyone, thank you all for participating. And yeah, guys, make sure to enjoy your days. Don't be too sad about the crypto development here. It will all come back. It will all come back and will look very good. And we are going to be very, very excited about our portfolios. Now, guys, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, tick the little bell to always get notified whenever I come back online. And wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I catch you in the next Crypto